Changemaker Hub. Striving to inspire changemakers everywhere.
Hi,
Hello.
welcome, Carole.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being at the podcast today and joining me.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Oh my goodness, this is so exciting.
It is.
I'm super excited to have this conversation with you. It's super chill vibes, fun. We'll go where the conversation takes us.
Sounds good.
So to begin, maybe give us a little intro about yourself.
So yeah, I'm Carole Gbogouri. I'm 30. Just turned the big 30 a few weeks ago.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much. Unlike my normal day to day, I'm a public servant. So I work in the federal government, but I recently launched a business, an event planning business.
Yeah.
It's called the Fête Élite. And it's really all about celebrating the special occasions with a touch of glamorous and a sophisticated touch. And I'm very excited to start this new journey.
Amazing. Wow. So for those of you who don't know, Carole just graduated from our Cohort 2 program here at the Changemaker Innovation Hub.
Yes.
And I had the privilege of getting to know you. You're an amazing person.
Thank you.
I see you shining and doing amazing work. And I'm excited for this conversation because we're going to get to know you even deeper. So to get us started, I always like to begin with your childhood memories. So something that you're fond of, what is a happy childhood memory that comes to mind for you?
Well, I would say in general, I had a really good childhood. So that is a fond memory in itself. But when we were younger, we grew up in Alta Vista, in the Alta Vista buildings, not far from Herdman. People know where that is in Ottawa. But just honestly, fond memories I have is when we were younger, my sister and my mom would take us to go to church, and we would walk there and then we would walk back, or sometimes me and my sister we would go to the little Shopper Drugs Mart right across, and just spending a lot of time in that area. I remember when my mom would teach us how to ride a bike, and the parking lot was on this little hill, and then as I was learning to ride a bike, I went down the hill. I was just speeding, and she ran after me to come and get me. So it's really just small family moments that I remember that are joyous for me. Yeah.
Wow, that's lovely. I actually know those buildings. I used to take some. There was a lady who sews clothing, so I remember going there, and she used to do in-house clothing. So I know those buildings, and as a mom, I can relate to teaching my kids how to ride a bike. It's nerve-wracking, but it's fun, right?
Yeah.
It's something you get to do together. And
For sure.
Yeah, amazing. So I want to know a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey. Like I said, I feel privileged to share that journey a bit with you because you started the Changemaker Innovation Hub program, and you've recently launched it after your 5-month preparation. So how has that been for you, and kind of just learning the inspiration behind your business? Why did you decide to become an entrepreneur, to join this journey and start your own business?
Well, I feel I was always meant to be an entrepreneur, but I think as I was growing up and I wanted to go in that direction, there were different paths that led me elsewhere, but I always kept coming back to it. I remember when I was a teenager, I always wanted to do a career that would cause you to kind of be independent. I remember I wanted to be a model at one point. I wanted to be a fashion designer. And then I, through high school and then eventually university, I remember thinking I wanted to start a makeup business. It was very artistic. That's the path that I kept on going towards, but I knew that I wanted to be a leader. I was always trying to figure out what it was going to be, but I didn't really figure that out until I myself started planning my own birthday parties. My first one, I would say, was when I was 25. I did a party at the Chateau Laurier. It was a dinner. I invited my friends. And then I did another one at 26. It was a champagne birthday party because I was turning 26 on the 26th.
Oh, wow.
And then I did something when I was 27, 28. And then I did something when I was 30. So I think for me, when I graduated university with my bachelor's degrees in public administration, and I started working full time in the government, after a few times, I was like, this can't be me for the rest of my life. Like, I just happen to be a public servant because, you know, I live in Ottawa. I've lived here my whole life, and a lot of us are public servants. So it just kind of happened. And I wanted to see if maybe this is the way forward. But after a few months, I knew it wasn't the case. So then I just kept thinking about it again. And when I planned those parties and people would give me feedback about them, they said they had so much fun. It was like memories that they kept on thinking about year after year. And I enjoyed the process. So I was like, I think this is it, because it allowed me to be creative. It allowed me to hone in on my planning and organization skills, and it allowed me to be a leader, but most importantly, just to be around people and help them celebrate and be happy. I think that was really the defining factor for me. So yeah, that was kind of my entrepreneurial journey. And then of course I met you, and it took me a few years before I actually decided to take the jump and do it. And that's just because I just needed a bit more belief in myself and more support. And that's like where you came in and when I finally launched.
Yeah, no, I love that story. I love that, you know, the organic way it started for you. Like it was something that you enjoyed doing, and it was fun, it was exciting, and you saw, okay, people are resonating with that. I'm having fun with it. So why not make it into a business, right? I feel like sometimes when we think about the business first, it seems a bit forced, but when it comes from a personal place, a place of enjoyment and love for the thing, it's easier, right?
Yes.
It's easier to do it and to even keep going. So yeah, so you launched now, right? Congratulations.
Thank you.
First of all, I
you
know
very
that
much.
was a journey on
It
its
was.
own,
Yeah.
right? And like you said, like in Ottawa, most professionals work for the government because the government is here and it's our biggest employer. And there's a lot of comfort in that. Like people want to just, you know, do their 9 to 5 and get that paycheck, the stability and all that. It's a good thing. So what makes someone like you who has a great job, but also finds this thing calling it? I love that you said it's always been calling me. Like, so what is the thing you love about entrepreneurship that kind of always brings you back, pulls you?
I think number one, definitely being my own boss. I don't mind having a manager or working under someone, but sometimes there can be a change in that. Whereas if you're own boss, you kind of rely on yourself, your own ideas, what you want to do, how you see something. And what I like about it is having a vision, having an idea and seeing that come to life and like it's your own. Like at times, I think the reasons why I have felt in the past I could have gone to like an art school is because I feel like I have these images in my head and I want them to become real. So that's what the event planning business gave to me. And also I think with entrepreneurship, there's just so many possibilities. Like it doesn't have to be one straight line of what you want to do. Like, sure, yes, right now I'm an event planner and that's great. But sometimes I tell myself I could be an event planner for 10 years and then I do something else after in the same avenue. I feel a lot more freedom, just the choice of doing like what I want to do and when I want to do it. Of course, there's going to be like certain structures in place, but just not having to like ask permission to do things, doing them like on my own and in my own way, I find that like very attracting. Yeah, that's what I would say.
I resonate with all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you feel really empowered, right? To do what you want to do. Like you get an amazing idea and instead of like going through the approval chains, you could just go for it, test it out, try it, and growth happens so much faster, right? But the other side of that is also like there's no one to hide behind, right? There's no company to hide behind. There is no boss to hide behind. You know, in the beginning, there's no consistency with the paycheck or the pay. So when you think about like, we talked about the great stuff, right? Of that kind of attracts us to entrepreneurship. But then there's the other side too that causes challenges, although we see it as, in the mindset side of things, we want to see them as opportunities, but there's still challenges when you're working through them, right? So talk to me about that. What does that look like for you?
Well, since I've just launched, and I should also add on, I don't have experience as an event planner professionally, meaning I'm really starting my business out of my own passion, out of these like skills that I've noticed that I've had, and I'm learning along the way. So, figuring things out is definitely just like a big challenge, because like if I think of my government job, if there are skills I want to acquire, if I have questions, I could probably just ask my colleagues, maybe send an email to HR, and, eventually I'll get those answers. For this, I'm really figuring it out as I go. Even at this current moment, being paid, knowing my rate, I need to figure that out, right? I need to look at the service that I'm providing and putting a value to it. So that's something else I'm going to have to figure out. Even right now, as a government worker, I get paid time off. I get paid vacation.
Yes.
There are a lot of perks. And
yeah.
I thought about like one day the goal would be to quit my government job and that'll be gone. So I've definitely thought about those things. Instead of letting it cause fear within me, I'm really going in with an open mind and seeing how can I emulate this current situation that I have with government. Because I think people, they're like, oh my God, you won't have paid vacation, you don't have that. Well, I'm sure there are different avenues that can still provide those things. I can save a lot more like on my own, because in government, those things are already set up for you, but I'll probably have to set them up for myself. Probably have to like get good insurance, maybe something that can maybe match what I have. But I think there are ways around it. And I think as I keep on growing and I become more financially successful, I want to be financially responsible so that there will be less worry and more safety. So I want to create that safety net for myself that I currently have in government, because it's really about also creating generational wealth, which I think, my parents coming here, being immigrant, they've already done a great job. So now it's for me to continue that and to create that, for my future kids. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. I love your mindset around that, because, you have this like ease, a way of ease around it, where you're saying it, there are systems that exist in my day job and I could replicate similar systems for my business. So I think a lot of the challenge is that we don't see a lot of entrepreneurs in our network. You know what I mean? So it's hard to envision for ourselves, right? So anything we don't know can be scary, and can be scary for our families too. So I love that you are, thinking ahead and saying, yeah, it's new, but I can find a way. Like I can work with it. I can get to a point of security and comfort, and taking that leap where it's just your business, and then keep growing from there.
Yeah, I agree. That's the goal.
Thank you. In terms of like what you're excited about, like now you've launched your business, and you're in a period of, it's a honeymoon phase where you're excited, you're and you're looking ahead in the future, right? And I want to also recognize, although it's a honeymoon phase, it's also a place of uncertainty where we don't know what this thing will be, right? So if we're thinking about the future and the things you're excited about, things you want to do with your business, what comes to mind for you?
Honestly, booking my first event, that is like my first milestone that I'm very excited about. And just because my first event was my own 30th birthday party. So that was easier in the sense where I know myself, I know my vision, I know what I'm happy with, I know what makes me unhappy, etc. But now actually like booking a client and working with them and trying to figure out, how can we make this the best party is like very exciting to me. And I'm also, honestly, I'm really excited about meeting more entrepreneurs. Like, the journey has started great here at the Changemaker Hub, but I'm excited to meet new people, to have different conversations, to just like learn more perspectives on how to do things. Those are really things that I enjoy. So I'm just really excited to learning about new communities and being in new circles, honestly, because I think that's something that my current government job doesn't give me. So, and I feel that with this business, the sky's the limit, right? Like, I can meet new people anywhere at any time. So I'm just excited at like how far that's gonna go. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. And I see like your personality being good for that because you're very friendly, you're warm. I could see you, making connections easy. In terms of your business, I actually want to know more. Let's say someone is listening and they want to hire you for an event. What can they expect?
Well, they can expect my style to be very like luxurious and glamorous and colorful, I would say, but in a subtle way. And they can expect for their event to really be all about them and for them to shine. And how can we bring elements of themselves in the event, but also make guests remember the event in a very special way. So for my 30th birthday, for example, I love music and I love to dance. So I asked two of my friends if they would agree and do a dance with me, like a choreographed dance. So we did that and the guests loved it. I also had customized decorations. So all of the guests had like a gold acrylic name that I used on top of the plates, and they all really love that. So it's all about subtle detail and making those come alive, but that is really what makes people remember your party and like have fun. Like for the personalized names, a lot of people, they took that home and they still have it till this day. So that's what I enjoy doing. I really love paying attention to the detail and what is it that we can do during your event so that you have fun. You just need to show up. I'll plan the whole thing and you'll just have fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. You're hired. Definitely my next event. You're doing it. That's amazing.
Thank you.
We're big on mindset here. In fact, the first workshop we typically do at the beginning of the cohort is working on your mindset, the Mindset Mastery Workshop. So thinking about your journey so far, what are some challenges that you faced that your mindset was either supporting you or holding you back? And how has that mindset shift, how's that going for you?
In terms of mindset, I definitely think my biggest weakness and strength has been perfectionism, because since I am a perfectionist, I pay a lot of attention to a lot of detail and I look at everything to like a really small detail. So for event planning, that's great. It works out very well. However, it was really holding me back from launching my business because I kept on telling myself everything had to be perfect and everything had to be set up for me to start the business. But that's not realistic, because what that was translating into was fear, and the fear was holding me back. And what I've learned instead is you need to start somewhere. You need to put yourself out there, because if you don't, well, like, you're never going to reach your goal. So that's really what I've learned, and I'm embracing it because I see how it's a pro and a con, and I just try and kind of go in between. Like when I see it popping up, I start talking to myself. I'm like, okay, like this is good, but like you're doing too much right now. So yeah.
I love that. You have the awareness,
yes,
to see it come up, but I love that you see also how this could help you with your business. So it's not a bad thing altogether. It's just, when is it a good thing and when is it a bad thing?
Yeah.
When should I turn it down? When should I turn it up?
Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. And I see that too. And like I said, I'm privileged to have the chance to work with you in this segment of your journey. And I've seen how that's helping you, how you're overcoming that. Yeah. And I kind of want to ask you a question of advice, right? So if you were to speak to someone else that is in your shoes maybe a year ago, right? They want to start a business, but there's something that's holding them back. What would you say to them?
Honestly, I heard this advice a million times because quite often I would look at videos on YouTube of other entrepreneurs and they would always say this, just start. And I'd be like, I don't know. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Me.
But like, they're right. Like, just like dip your toes in the water. Like, just try. Like, to be completely honest, even though I've launched only in February, I still only have 2 posts on my Instagram account for the business. But that's okay because I have a plan. And with that plan, you know, the business is going to grow. Things are going to happen. Like a year ago, I would have told me, that's ridiculous. You only have 1 post. Why? That's not good enough. Like, close the account. But now it's like, no, it's okay. Like, at least it gives me visibility. It helps me to get comfortable with the business. And it's helping me like establish myself. So it's just about taking small steps. That's why I say just dip your toes in the water and just like start. Like, don't think of like being at the top of the hill. Just like take that 1 step and you'll be fine. And then eventually you'll get to the top. That's
Eventually.
what I would say.
Yes,
eventually.
you're on your way.
Yeah.
I love that. And I could hear that mental chatter that goes on in your brain. Like, as you were explaining that too, right? You know, like a year ago, that would be a huge barrier, a huge obstacle, just having 2 posts. Like, can I even call myself an entrepreneur if I only have 2 posts? Can I even sit here and talk about entrepreneurship if I only have 2 posts? You know what I mean? I'm not even out there yet. So, you know, there's a lot of internal struggle that we have to deal with as entrepreneurs, because they don't see the struggle. You know, people see the glamour, the success, but there's a lot that happens when it's just you and you're dealing with. And, you know, we prioritize mental health and wellness at the Changemaker Innovation Hub in our programming, and just, you know, taking that human-centered approach. So when it comes to your mental health and wellness and navigating the ups and downs and the chatters and people's perception, society, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how have you been able to tackle that? What has worked for you?
For me, there have been a few things that have worked. Definitely meditation is number 1. It really helps like ground me and get back to the basics and like who I am. And what's funny is like sometimes, you know, I'm really good. I meditate like every day, but then sometimes, you know, there'd be a few days where I don't, but then I just get back to it and it helps me get back to like my foundation. Affirmations. I go on Spotify. There's this, I think it's called Black Girl Affirmations. And she has all these different topics and she just repeats them twice based on the topic that she's doing. And I just listen to them and they're very positive. So it always brings me back to like my goal or to how I'm feeling, or if I'm feeling down, it'll bring me back up. So meditation, affirmations, taking walks. I'm not good at taking them in the winter, I'm not gonna lie. But it's really important to be out in nature and just embrace, you know, the beautiful sun or the plants, the insects, the animals, everything, because that's really like what being on this planet is about, you know, not always being in your house cooped up. It's just, it kind of like drains you. So it's important to be out in the sun, getting that vitamin D, like that. But most importantly, if you're able to, having a really good supportive community. I truly and honestly would not have been here if it wasn't like for my friends and my sister, actually, because I bother them a lot. I ask them a lot of questions. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And they're always there. They're always so supportive. Find those people who you trust and who you know are going to give you good advice, because they have similar perspectives as I do. So they know how to give me feedback that is constructive, but that is also helpful. So that has been like a game changer for me. So those 4 things: meditation, affirmations, being out in nature, and supportive community.
I love that. I think that's an amazing advice.
Yeah.
I think that's a good toolbox to work with. I couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much,
No
Carol.
problem.
I really enjoyed this conversation. I'm looking forward to having you back
sure.
and sharing your successes.
Yes.
We'll definitely link your socials and ways that people can get in touch with you. I'm excited to see the amazing events that you'll be
Thank you.
hosting and your happy customers raving about you. Before we end, do you have any question for me? Questions or question for me?
Yes. So now that you've ended the second cohort, how do you feel? Like, how does it feel to know that you know these two different sets of entrepreneurs and you've helped them achieve their dream? And you've also achieved your own dream. So, like, how does that feel?
It's hard to describe. Honestly, like, I'm kind of feeling happy and content inside, and I get a chance to celebrate with you all. And at the retreat, we had our own quiet celebration where it was just us, and we got to share those moments together. And at the graduation, we'll get to celebrate collectively as a group, but also with the community. So I'm extremely happy. I'm extremely grateful that I get to do this. This was a dream for me too.
Yeah.
This was a dream. This is something I dreamt about 4:30 a.m. every morning. I close my eyes and I visualize a space that would support entrepreneurs. So every cohort is different. Every cohort brings their own energy and has a special place in my heart. You know how your kids, you love them, but you love them differently, and they have like a special place, and it's irreplaceable because it's just unique to that person, to that group. So it's hard to explain, but the excitement is continuing. It's also looking ahead in the future and the amazing things that we'll do together, and watching your journey and saying and bragging about you and saying, "Oh, Carol started here." So it's really extremely rewarding. I'm extremely grateful, and sometimes I can't even believe this is happening, that we're doing this. And so I'm kind of just going with the flow and riding the excitement, but also not settling, and looking forward to doing more and continuing the journey with you guys. Okay, so now you launched. How can we support you in your next step? How can we keep moving forward and growing together as a community?
Yeah.
So it's all good, happy feelings.
Yeah. Do you mind if I ask a second question?
Yes.
Like, what are some of the challenges that you've had in, creating the Changemaker Hub to where it is now? Because obviously, like, being a change maker myself, I love saying that.
Yes, you're a change maker.
Yeah. Like, I've just seen all the positive and all the great things that have come out of it. But like, as we've spoken about, we know that there are difficulties, right?
Yes.
So what would you say were some of the challenges that you've noticed up until now?
Yeah, so I would say the challenges, although, with my mindset, now every challenge is an opportunity. So I would say even the Change Maker Hub kind of flew or flowed. The challenge or the growth happened before the Change Maker Hub. So when I first launched my company, The Boundless Mindset, that's where I had to really, that's where the big pivot happened for me, where I had to leave my job. I had to finance my own business. I had to really put all my eggs in that basket and say, this is what I believe, this is what I'm going to do. So that got me to a place of, a quick and fast personal growth and business development. So I would say it's what happened prior.
Okay.
Before I launched the Changemaker Hub, that got me to a place now where I'm a bit more trusting of the process.
Okay.
I'm a bit more, I would say, able to manifest things better because I have a better belief in myself, stronger believe in myself, because every success kind of supports you for your next step, right? It gives you the confidence, the boost that you need to say, oh, I could do it again. I could do it again, right? And it's really that personal belief that makes things happen. So for me, a lot of the growth and overcoming challenges happened before the launch of the Changemaker Hub. So once we launched the Changemaker Hub, I was like, yeah, this was my dream. I was waiting for you. You're here. Let's go.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I've really been impressed at how you've been still building the Changemaker Hub as you go. I have, like, to me, that's really impressive because, as I said, I'm a perfectionist. So everything had to be ready before it started. But you do such a great job at that. And just thank you for showing me that, you know, it's possible and you can do it even if everything isn't perfect. It really has made a big difference. Honestly, to me.
Yes. And perfect is boring.
Yeah.
Perfect is boring in the sense that, first of all, it doesn't exist, right? There's no such thing as perfection. You always really keep getting better. You keep getting, you never get to a place where there's no more growth, right? So you might as well just get it to a place where, okay, it's usable. It can function. So let's put it out there. Let's add another layer, one more layer. So every time, for example, we do a cohort, we add one little layer, right? And we collect feedback. We say, okay, what worked for you? First time we did our first session for cohort 1, we had boxes everywhere. Like we weren't even 100% set up. The rooms were filled with boxes. So it's right, like bringing that mindset back whenever, especially with the team, they might say, oh, but we're not ready. And I would be like, let's just do it. Let's try. But that's where the fun is, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
You're going there and trying something and not waiting for things to be perfect. And great things come out of that, right? Yeah.
I can attest to that.
Thank you once again, Carole.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to having you come back. I'm excited to watch your journey. It's just starting and the sky is the limit.
Thank you. Thanks again for having me. This was great.
This was so much fun.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in this week. And if you enjoyed the show, please let us know about it. We love connecting with you all. Goodbye for now.